You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AfterBuzz TV for Pretty Little Liars. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest Pretty Little Liars news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AfterBuzz TV for Pretty Little Liars.
Good evening, AfterBuzzers. Welcome to your after show for Pretty Little Liars, Season 2, Episode 17, The Blonde Leading the Blind. I am your host this evening, David Schifilliti. Unfortunately, Deirdre could not make it tonight. And there is some other unfortunate news. Nobody else could make it in tonight. That's right. Boo on you ladies. All of you. I'm looking out for you. I'm hunting you down. Sydney, DeBear, Emily Harbert, and Deirdre, you're on my shit list. Just kidding. Anyways, let's dive right into the episode. You and me, if you want to call in, comment, please do. 424-256-1729. I would love to hear from anybody and everybody. And I'm sure anybody out there would love to hear someone else's voice other than mine tonight. Let's just be honest. I'm not the most eloquent person out there. But that aside, now that we've got everything out of the way, let's jump into the episode. Tonight's episode was a lot about discovery for the girls and growth within themselves. And a lot of it for me was just they were able to find things that they've been looking for, and the show producers have given us a lot of answers as to what might have been happening and what's going on with who maybe A is. They sort of have led us to believe up until this point that what the hell is his name? This is why I need other people with me, because I have a bad short-term memory. Who's coughing in there? Stop doing that. Anyway, whatever his freaking name is, they have led us to believe that someone else was involved with A.
Oh, honey, the buses don't go where you live, do they?
No, they don't. And he is not. He's back this week. Let me see if I can figure out what his name is. Give me a second. Nope.
You mean Ian?
No, I'm talking about Brendan Robinson's character. I can't remember
I'll look it up for you, David.
his character's name, but I know the actor's name, so that's all that matters. He is not involved with A, or so we think. He went AWOL because he lost Caleb's money in some sort of bet, and he was trying to tell Hanna this in a very strange way, and he's back this week, or maybe that was last week. See, I'm getting everything confused. That was last week. Excuse me.
And he plays Lucas.
And he plays Lucas. See, I'm lost without somebody else here. I told you this was a bad idea. Anyway, let me just focus on my topics. Holden has become Aria's quote-unquote beard, as Emily has coined him. They have found a way for, or so they think, for Aria to be able to find a way to meet up with Ezra and sort of lead out this fantasy love life that she has with him. And whether it's a good idea or not, whether Holden has good intentions or not, it's yet to be discovered. But despite the fact Holden is being a good friend to Aria and allowing her to sort of use him in a way, and he's also using her. We don't know what he's doing on his own, but they go out on their own on these half dates, half sneaking around the parents to get to do what they actually want to do. And the girls think that Holden is gay, which turns out he's not. And Aria reaches out to Ezra in a very, I guess, romantic way and tells him that I'm going to be by the clock tower in Philly. Come meet me at 8 o'clock. We can talk. Very typical cinematic choices that they made here tonight, where it's raining out, it's supposed to be romantic. He runs up to her, gives her a big kiss on the lips, which is what we've all been waiting for. We want Ezra and Aria back together. We all love Ezria. I know here at the show, the girls live for Angel Face JD, who has been MIA for a while. But I personally prefer Ezra and Aria together, despite the fact that it may not be the most appropriate relationship. It is still the love that is moving this story forward, I think. Ezra gets some very sage advice from one of his students who says, be bold and mighty forces will come to your aid. And he does. He makes a very bold choice in going into Aria, and he even says to her, we're crazy for doing this, but it's right. It feels right, and it's what needs to be. A little cinematic fact for everybody out there. The scene in the rain, if you've never been on a movie set or don't know anything about rain, you can't actually use real rain. You have to use fake rain, which comes down very, very heavily. So it's not the most comfortable thing in the entire world to shoot a scene in the rain. And a lot of the scenes in this episode were shot while it was raining, but the rain comes down so strongly that it's painful. So the fact that they were able to make that look like it was such a beautiful romantic kiss is kudos out to these people, because that is a difficult thing to do. It's like trying to keep your eyes open while facing the shower. Thank you. I think that's everything that happened with Aria tonight. I mean, she tried to be a good friend to Hanna, but, you know, as usual, Ezra wins over everything. The most interesting story tonight, I'm going to leave till last, I think. So Spencer and Emily have both been having relationship problems recently. Emily's been having problems with whatever the hell her name is, and and Spencer's been having problems with Toby for a while. And everything sort of comes to a head in this episode, at least with Toby. Last week we saw or whomever it is, loosening the bolts in the scaffolding by Spencer's house. And Toby comes back this week to collect his tools. And Spencer is sort of avoiding him again because she doesn't want to she doesn't want him to get hurt. And she's trying to protect him in essence, which the best way she could protect him, in my view, is to just let him know what's going on with their lives, and maybe he can sort of find a way to protect himself. But these girls love to keep their secrets, and they don't want to get anybody hurt, and they don't want to put anyone in harm's way. So she doesn't tell him anything. She just pushes him away because A sort of tells Spencer to do that. So she's following A's orders. And Toby, while collecting his tools, decides to take the scaffolding down later on in the episode, and the scaffolding falls, which is, I think this is the first time, actually, where A did something in a previous episode, and it was revealed to us what happened in the next episode, which was very exciting for us, because they are sort of, as viewers, that is, they're sort of giving us all these clues as to who A might be or who A could be involved with. And they're revealing us the answers very quickly, because I know at the end of this episode, the end of this season, we are going to find out who A actually is. And I'm sure there's been clues throughout the 2 seasons as to who A could be, but they're sort of leading us on this wild goose chase as to who A could be. I mean, for a while, I've been convinced that it was Lucas. Apparently, he's not even involved with A. And this week, they're sort of leading us to believe that it could be Jenna again, which is very interesting. And Noel might be involved in it. which is a little even bit more twisted. But Toby ends up in the hospital, which we see Wren is back on the show. He's been back in town for a while now. We haven't seen him for a few weeks, but he is back, and Spencer has to make the decision as to how to push Toby away and to get him to realize that they can no longer be a couple. They're right now. This is just not the best thing for him. He's been physically hurt, and Spencer gets another text from A basically saying that next time he might not be so lucky. So she heeds A's warning and asks Emily to do her a favor and to let Toby know that before they started dating, there was another guy, and she realized it wasn't right, so she went to Toby, but now she realizes what's going on with Toby isn't right. And basically, Spencer asks Emily to lie to Toby and let him down, quote unquote, easy by saying that there's another guy, which is probably the worst thing she could have done. If she really loves this guy, she should have actually told him the truth, or somewhat of the truth, to just let him know that right now is not good, but perhaps in the future, when things settle down a little bit, we can revisit this relationship. But right now, I need you to understand that together, we can't happen. And Emily, I guess, tells Toby we don't get to see that she was told to tell him that she's involved, Spencer is involved with Wren again. Lo and behold, Wren is Toby's doctor at the moment. He leaves the hospital early and returns the car that Spencer purchased for him last season, and sort of leaves her a note stating, we don't get to see the note, but that they are officially over. It is done between them. He's going to move on with his life. And while he's still in the hospital, Jenna visits him and says some very strange things, which is why I'm sort of going back to the fact that Jenna might be involved with A, which we will get to into the next topic. And she tells him that being around those girls is not safe, and that he needs to be stronger, and that Spencer is haunted and she knows about being haunted, and that we're family, and whether you like it or not, we have to stick together.
That is so classic her.
Right? That is so weird. Please don't do that again.
Sorry, I was picturing Whore Island.
I forgive you. See, now you interrupted my flow and I don't know what the hell I was talking about. Thanks, Phil. Where was I? Jenna. I have no idea what I'm saying. Thank you. Yes, give me the music. Give me some time to think. And all of this sort of led me to believe, while she was talking to Toby, is it possible that she is right? Is Toby better off without Spencer? Is Toby in any real danger? Or is Jenna putting him in danger by being involved with A? Or is Jenna A? These are all questions that, if you know the answer to or have an inkling to the answer to, call us here at AfterBuzz, email us, tweet me at You Can Call Me Skiff. Let me know what you think, because I'm very curious. I have no idea personally. I do think what I want to think, which is that she's definitely involved with A, but who the hell knows at this point. We saw earlier on in the episode that Caleb has finally unlocked A's quote-unquote cell phone. And on the cell phone, there are videos stored. And Ian has sort of, we get to see Ian again, and this is back in the past. And Ian, Jenna, and Garrett are in Allie's room the night that she died, which we also found out last week that Jenna was signed out of her blind rehabilitation school by Officer Garrett for the night and never signed back in. So we know that she was back in Rosewood. We now have proof that she was back in Rosewood by seeing the video that they're in Allie's room the night that she died, and Ian is sort of covering his tracks by videotaping this conversation that he has with them, saying that now they think Allie has the videos. They know that she has the videos and they want them back, but now Ian and Jenna are in as deep as he is, which might be a reason as to why Jenna and Garrett might have offed Ian last season. Maybe they were involved in that killing. They wanted to get rid of him so that there was no proof that they were involved with him because they knew that he had copies of those videos. And now it's sort of coming out on this cell phone. Caleb is finally able to uncover a whole bunch of stuff on the cell phone in these videos. And the girls see it. It's still a little bit scrambled. They see that Garrett opens the box, Allie's box, that they have in their possession at the moment, which is also the box that they lured A in with in the first episode of this second half of season 2. And while Garrett looks in the box, he sees something that he's startled by or shocked by. What it is, we don't know. I personally have no idea what it could be, because of what the girls have in their box isn't what Allie had in her box, even though it's the same thing. Yeah, the doll is in there, and the girls finally see that inside the doll's head, A had been sending messages to Allie all along, so A has been around for a lot longer than they think, even though as an audience member, we've known that A has been taunting Allie since Halloween before she died. And this sort of scares the girls. Hanna, of course, jumps to conclusion and is like, we need to take this to the police immediately. And the other girls want to get more information, which sort of leads us to where next week is going to be going. But Caleb sort of continues to work on the cell phone decrypting on his own, and starts to notice that the people in this video are involved somehow with Allie's death. And he's seeing all these people around town and he thinks he's being watched. Granted, he was uncovering something about Officer Garrett Reynolds while Garrett was sitting across from him at the coffee shop. So that sort of freaked him out. But he knows these people. He's been living in this town. And yeah, he knows that Ian, quote unquote, confessed to Allie's murder, and he happens to be in these videos too with Jenna and Garrett. And so now he's sort of piecing things together, even though Hanna has never wanted him to be involved in this, and she's been sketchy about this thing the whole time. Excuse me. I was getting a little parched. But Hanna and Caleb get into a huge fight about him decrypting the videos, and she sort of takes his portable file thingy. I don't even know what it's called. Do you know what that's called, Phil?
A thumb drive?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I didn't see the episode.
It's like a small thing you stick into the computer.
thumb drive.
Okay, sure, whatever. She takes that.
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
Thank you. And throws it in the blender. Luckily, Caleb has a backup copy because he is a quote-unquote computer nerd. And he tells the girl, look, I'm going to continue to work on this. I'm going to decrypt the rest of the videos, but we can't let Hanna know. But if I'm going to continue to do this, you need to give me answers. He wants to know what is going on. The girls tell him, Spencer tells him what she thinks he needs to know, that Jenna is somehow involved in the murder and she's blackmailing them. And she doesn't tell him the truth, but she tells him enough of the truth that it gets him off their back. And whether this is the best idea for them to sort of branch off Aria Emily and Spencer away from Hanna when Hanna already feels like she's being singled out by A. Probably not the best thing for them to do, but if this is the only way that they can get information, it might be okay. I'm just not sure.
One of us has made a gross error.
It's definitely not me.
That was for the girls. They made an error.
I know that. Thank you.
I'm sorry, your answer.
You are button happy.
I'm trying to help you out.
I know.
Trying to
I
be co-host.
appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. I need all the help I can get. What I really like tonight about this episode, I think the most, aside from the Ezria kiss, because I was all up in that, is that Mona and Hanna are becoming friends again. I know in the books that Mona was A, but I just don't see that being true for our series on the television show. They're sort of making us believe at this point that Noel is somehow involved with A because he is dating, or so they're leading us to believe, Jenna now. And that's why he broke up with Mona. Whether or not he was dating Mona to get closer to the other girls is not to be discovered yet, or whether he was dating Mona. I mean, he was definitely dating her with ulterior motives, and then he had to have been working with Jenna for longer than they're leading us to believe. But I just don't think that Noel is romantically dating Jenna. I just think that he is with her in another capacity. What that is, I'm just not sure yet. I actually think, but that might be it for this episode. I mean, it was great to see Mona back in full force, and she's being a real person again. We're seeing a lot of emotion out of her, and it's always nice to see a character like that be redeemed and get to be real. At the end of the episode, we get a little clip of A with pictures of all the girls with their prospective mates kissing, which is beyond creepy, but very in the fashion of A. Shim, I'm going to call it A, Shim, is cutting up, which is she and him melded together for those of you who don't follow my lingo. A is cutting the pictures in half, cutting the girls' faces off and setting the boys' faces on fire, which is very interesting because the best way for A to get to the girls now, because the girls have become so smart, is to get to their partners and screw with them. And on that note, we're going to head to a commercial break.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Welcome back, everybody, to Pretty Little Liars. A quick little note.
Not a secret, can you keep it? Swear this one you say. Better lock it in your pocket. Taking this one to the grave. In the show you
Really?
know you want.
That's not fun.
No, not at all. Not for me. Although I do really like that song. I think we need to, though, Phil, while I have your attention, talk to the powers that be at possibly changing the day that we do our Pretty Little Liars after show, that we can get like a couple more people in here, maybe.
And when were you thinking of doing it?
I don't know. We'll let all our fans know, I think. This week we got to you on Thursday. I know it's 4 days after the episode airs, but, scheduling conflicts. This is the best that we could do this week. Hopefully next week we can...
We'll get better.
We can get more people into the studio.
No, we'll figure it out, because, obviously we've
out.
gotten a lot of emails, and I'm glad, David, that you are taking this on, and, the courage that you have. By the way, for those of you listening, doing a solo show is very daunting. I know you guys are probably saying, like, anyone can do it, but, there's a reason why there's people that get paid millions and millions of dollars to do it. And, David, you're doing quite well.
Even those people who get paid millions and millions of dollars still have a freaking co-host.
Yeah, so there you go. You're doing good.
They always have somebody with them. Even if it's one other person, it helps. Regardless, on that note, I think there is no news and gossip this week. I just didn't have time to do anything, to look anything up. I'm really sorry, but I'm going to make sure that for next week, if and when Deirdre does not show up again, I'm going to strangle that girl. I will make sure to have some stuff for you. If you're a fan of Deirdre's, find her on Twitter at her name is Deirdre. She just got a new job at Clever TV News. Go congratulate her. She's doing great work out there. We just miss her here at AfterBuzz. But on that note, let's just jump right into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So we didn't get a lot in the teaser for next week's episode, except for the fact that the three girls, Spencer, Emily, and Aria, have sort of branched off with Caleb, sort of making him the fourth in their group, to figure out what is the rest of the information on the cell phone. And it looks like the girls get in a little too deep. They doesn't look like what they uncover on the cell phone is anything that they ever wanted to see. We did see like a sort of quick shot of a close-up of the screen, the computer screen, of someone's ID being cleared off.
David,
yes.
I'm gonna help you by bringing in a fan to help you out with predictions. How about that?
Okay, that sounds
All right,
great.
Fan, you are on the line.
Hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Chanel. I'm calling from LA.
Hi. Did you say your name was
Hi.
Chanel?
Yeah, Chanel.
Oh, I love it. Hi, Chanel. How's it going?
Hi, good. How about you?
Good, thank you. What do you think of Monday night's episode?
I thought it was pretty good. It was more relationship heavy this week.
It
it always is, but there wasn't like as much other crazy stuff going on. We really got to focus on like the Toby and Spencer.
Yeah.
That really kind of came to front.
It did. And were you as big of a fan of the Ezria kiss as I was?
Yes, I was waiting for them to get back together. I knew it was coming, but yeah, no, I was really excited to see it happen.
I think we all were excited to see it happen. It sort of re-energized us, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Did you have any other thoughts on this past week's episode?
Well, I definitely think it's interesting that they're bringing Noel back, like, all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's kind of out of the blue, so I'm definitely thinking he's more involved. I know, like, he came back for one of the A things with the fashion show, I think a little earlier. And then he was, like, a suspect of being A in season 1, but they kind of, like, dropped him off. So I definitely thinking having him back with Mona and with Jenna, I think that's just a little interesting.
It is, right?
Yeah, and like I know in the books, he had an older brother who was in the same grade as Ian. I know they don't talk about him, but I thought like maybe that's where they thought of his character being involved.
Right, sort of bringing back the books in the NAT club and sort of wrangling in Noel into that sort of group.
Yeah, definitely.
So did you have any predictions as to what might be happening next week, since that's where we were at in the show?
Well, I definitely think that Kate's going to have a big part in next week's episode with Hannah's storyline.
We haven't seen Kate since they mentioned that her dad was moving back to Rosewood.
Yeah, so I think having her back in Rosewood and kind of seeing like her maybe try to like fight for a popularity over Hanna at school, and then Hannah's probably already going to feel like threatened by her friends keeping the secrets with Caleb. I think it's just going to be a hard episode for her.
Oh, so you're going to think next week is going to be very Hanna heavy.
Yeah, from the promo and just knowing that Kate's coming back soon, I think that that's very possible.
Good call. I didn't even think about Kate because they sort of mentioned her and it was sort of like a throwaway a couple weeks ago, and we haven't seen her since then. But very good call on that.
Yeah, I think they're bring that in because definitely since we saw in the promo, she's going to see that they're keeping secrets and everything. So I think just having that other part in, I think it's just going to make her go over the edge maybe a little bit.
Love it. We need to get you in here. You're in LA, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to find you, and I'm going to make you be my co-host. How does that sound?
All right. Perfect. Okay, well, thanks for having me on.
Thank you for calling in and saving me from being alone.
Okay, I'll call in next week maybe.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
Have a good night. Oh, that was wonderful. The lovely Miss Chanel here. Anyway, from everyone here at AfterBuzz TV and myself, thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry, it was such a mess. We'll be better next week.
We'll get more people, and we'll keep you in the loop of when.
We will keep you
David?
in the loop. Have a good night, everybody.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.